I'm 10 Tampa Bay's Adaure Achumba right here on Bayshore Drive over by the St. Pete Pier. And we are seeing as the water levels are continuing to rise and breach the seawall occasionally. Just take a look at some of the debris that we're seeing here. This here is seagrass. It's been pulled in from the ocean here. The winds again picking up. You can still, feel every now and then that gust kind of like pushes me like that. But then you can still hear that howling to give you a sense of the intensity. Courtney, we've actually relocated to Shore Acres neighborhood, which is one of the hard-hit neighborhoods that shut down early at the height of the storm. Now, this evening, St. Pete officials and crews assessing the damage brought upon by Hurricane Helene. And this is what the damage assessment is starting to look like, and the situation report is starting to look like. We know that there was a record more than 6 feet of storm surge that was experienced during the storm, as well as around 800 miles of roads covered and impacted by floodwaters. I can imagine the homeowners coming back to this, doing it all over again after Hurricane Helene, how traumatizing that could be for them. I've been speaking to a lot of them, and many of them driving by and trying to point me to where there's also more damage to go check out. But take a look at this here right behind me. This carport in this apartment complex here is gone. Right now, we know around 160 residents of Manatee County are without power, and nearly 200,000 residents here in Sarasota County are still without power. So you can imagine the challenge there if you're trying to navigate the roads and the signals are out. I could tell you that was really stressful trying to make my way down the road coming down here. So those are some of the reasons why they're telling people to kind of like wait a little bit so that they can clear the situation before you come home and start your cleanup and recovery. Take a look behind me. These folks here already boarded up and out of town, and throughout the area, like right next door, the focus now is to try to get all of this outstanding debris from Hurricane Helene that you're seeing all up and down the road. They're trying to get it away so that they don't become projectiles when Milton's high winds come into our area.
Adaure, looking at all of this, you just wonder, what will be there when we see beyond Thursday.
That's right, and we're here in Siesta Key looking around. It's a ghost town, a shell of itself. Now, before we go, I've not seen this the same way since the last hurricane, when the Pinellas County Sheriff said, if you choose to stay, you need to write your name on your arm. This has not left my mind since he said that. So folks need to keep that in mind as we try to ramp up the evacuation efforts. Now, like you said, in about 90 minutes, Sarasota sheriffs will shut down access to the barrier islands. Jenny, you can see the impact of Milton's destruction throughout the Sarasota area, including right here at the Bayfront Park, which is closed to the public. Now, take a look behind me here. This is a good example here. That boat dislodged by the winds and surge and deposited right there, far away from where it was tied up in the marina. I want to show you something real quick. When Hurricane Helene came by just about 2 weeks ago, this is the water line that remained after the water receded. And when Hurricane Milton came along, this is how high the water got. And it's that double whammy that business owners here, many of them still boarded up, are having to deal with as they start cleaning up back again. Now, we see some of them have already started right here with the cleanup process. One business owner spoke to us today, said he's been on this circle for 32 years. Luckily, he has a top floor business, and he says he doesn't think that many of these businesses will return. We are in the area of Lakewood Ranch, just near State Road 70. The road you see right behind me is River Club Boulevard, and you can see Manatee County Sheriff's deputies taking position right on that area there. That whole area inundated with water. They're not allowing folks to drive their cars through. We have actually seen neighbors coming out of there carrying stuff, bringing their pets with them, trying to get to the drier side of their subdivision. It's hard to believe that Hurricane Debbie came through this area several days ago, because just take a look at all the amount of water that's still in this area. And inside the Laurel Meadows subdivision, there's several homes that are still submerged in water. And tonight, there are new concerns about the possibility of more flooding. At this moment, a pump at the end of Weber Street is what is helping the drainage situation in this neighborhood. If you recall yesterday, you couldn't be in this area. I am told much of all that you see here is actually heading to a dumpster. It's all going to be trashed. It's a scene being replicated on lawns across this neighborhood. And this was one of the flooded areas where hundreds of those calls came from. Now, Sarasota County emergency management officials are telling us that their teams were prepared, but the amount of rain that fell during the short period of time was simply unprecedented and overwhelming. It's called Activate Hope, and it will be a new component of the state's emergency management response to a disaster. Now, this new initiative will address critical needs and also provide volunteers for on-site support. Business owners at this property on Gulf Drive in Holmes Beach tell me they are devastated by the fire, but are glad no one was hurt in this incident. Now, folks had just settled into their workday this morning before the day took a chaotic turn. No people or animals were injured in this incident, but as you can see behind me, the building took on very heavy damage, and the business owners tell me that it will take a few days before they can go back in to resume normal operations. Neighbors here in Sarasota are looking at a chance of more rain expected in the next couple of days, and that's why they're all coming here to get sandbags to shore up their homes just in case of more flooding. And each vehicle is limited to just 10 sandbags, and there are shovels here, but citizens are required to fill up their own bags. Now, both bags and sands will be provided while supplies last. In Sarasota, Adaure Achumba, 10 Tampa Bay. Nearly a month since Hurricane Debbie, and evidence of all of that flooding that we've been talking about still visible right here on properties along County Road 675 in Paris. Now, just today, or rather just hours ago today, many of those residents that were affected were demanding answers from county leaders. Now, for improved communication, county staff say they now have the first draft of updated inundation maps to gauge potential properties downstream that could be affected from any flooding. County staff also say they are pursuing a third-party analysis and an independent investigation. Live in Manatee County, Adaure Achumba, 10 Tampa Bay.